This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
Mr. Arabaka came to arms with bad intentions.
Iran is losing any control whatsoever.
I have accepted His Majesty the King's invitation to form a government.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Terrorism in the Big Apple. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. Officials say the man who allegedly set off an incendiary device outside of a New York City federal building today was anti-ICE and anti-government. FBI Assistant Director in Charge James Barnacle says 43-year-old Andrew Arabaka, a former U.S. soldier, came to 26 Federal Plaza looking to hurt people.
Mr. Arabaka came to arms with bad intentions, looking to injure people and harm people. He had 2 axes, a hammer, a machete, and 3 fixed blade knives, 6 incendiary devices or fireworks, and he had some other destructive items.
Arabaka allegedly yelled out anti-ICE slurs as he was being taken down by New York City police. Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, all 3 of those countries in the crosshairs of Iranian missiles and drones today, and the U.S.-Iran war continued to intensify following the deaths of U.S. service members in Jordan and Iraq over the weekend. 2 more ships also hit by projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz. Fox's Steve Harrigan.
No sign of any let-up in the violence. The U.S. has targeted Iran's positions inside Iran for the past 9 nights. CENTCOM saying they have hit command and control centers as well as launching sites for drones and ballistic missiles.
President Trump on those U.S. casualties.
We feel very badly, but those great people, those great patriots are out there fighting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Here's Iran's foreign minister through a translator.
You can neither threaten us nor bribe us. In the negotiations before the 12-day war, they had come to bribe. Not to bribe me, to bribe the Islamic Republic.
Failing new talks, how long might the ramped-up fighting continue? Retired U.S. Navy SEAL Mike Sorelli tells Fox it has to be for as long as it takes.
I don't care if it takes 9 nights, 50 nights, or 100 nights. Military campaigns are cumulative.
President Trump will attend the dignified transfer ceremony in Delaware tomorrow for those 2 U.S. service members who've been identified thus far. The U.K. has a new CEO.
I have accepted His Majesty the King's invitation to form a government.
His name is Andy Burnham. He today became the latest in a string of British leaders in recent times, telling supporters that trend needs to change.
I am acutely conscious that I am the 6th person in the last 10 years to walk up this street, the 7th Prime Minister since 2016.
Many observers say Burnham is more socialist-leaning than was his predecessor, Keir Starmer. Speaking of socialists, New York Mayor, Democrat socialist Zohran Mamdani has said he's exploring whether city police can arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he comes to the United Nations, citing an International Criminal Court warrant against him. But President Trump says Netanyahu will, quoting here, not be arrested in any way, shape, or form in the U.S. And Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman sounding off on socialism in his party after Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez appeared at a rally in Michigan this weekend supporting another controversial U.S. Senate candidate, Abdul El-Sayed.
Humble yourself, Bernie. You just pushed an accused rapist and imploded up in Maine, and now you're pushing, essentially a pro-Hamas candidate that's been anti-American and deeply anti-Israel.
Fetterman speaking on Fox this weekend. Back to New York, sentencing today for a deadly Mexican drug syndicate leader.
U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Joseph Nacella, says justice has been served.
Drug kingpins die in prison. El Mayo's fate is to die in prison. And with the amount of blood that drenches his hands, it is only fitting, and he deserves exactly that.
In a Brooklyn federal courtroom, 76-year-old Ishmael Zambada, known as El Mayo, said he was sorry for the harm he caused and went on to say he accepts his punishment. In New York, I'm Lizzie Radabali.
The cyclosporiasis mystery continues. ABC's Hannah Buta.
The FDA now says the one sample of Taylor Farms lettuce that had tested positive for the parasite was a false positive, but the recall is still on. Taylor Farms is pulling dozens of products sourced from central Mexico and distributed across 27 states, including bagged lettuce sold at Walmart under the Market Side brand.
The CDC says more than 1,600 people have been sickened by the outbreak. And forecasters say Tropical Depression 2 will likely become Tropical Storm Bertha today. Parts of the southeast are already bracing for some heavy rain, strong winds, and coastal flooding as that system continues to better organize in the Gulf. Still to come here on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories, highlights from today's noon feature on a Truth Rising themed Bible study from the Colson Center. And, well, you just never know what you might find at Goodwill. All of that coming up after Weather with Kevin.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. After a pair of rather pleasant and placid and peaceful days, things are changing again. Another potent cold front arrives by the end of the day tomorrow. Ahead of it, humid air will serve as the fuel, and the spark to ignite showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be feisty. Cooler, clearing conditions are expected following the passage of that front. So the call for tonight, a beautiful evening generally. Then a few clouds overnight, could be a late night shower for a few spots, low temps in the 60s, so not as cool as last night. Tomorrow, considerable clouds and humid with some showers. Watch for some locally strong thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening, high temps, low 80s. And then on Wednesday, it's a cooler, breezy day with less humidity. Clouds break for some sun, but there could be a brief shower or two for some. High temperatures Wednesday in the 70s.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Now checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. New York Governor Kathy Hochul being pressured to sign domestic violence legislation that was passed by the state legislature with bipartisan support. Here's Family Life's Jeremy Miller.
State lawmakers, advocates, and police are calling on Governor Hochul to sign the bill into law. It would require law enforcement to conduct lethality assessments when responding to domestic incidents, measuring the level of danger a victim is facing and could face in the future. Several communities have already implemented lethality assessment programs, and advocates say those measures have led to a 40% reduction in domestic violence homicides. Jeremy Miller, Family Life News.
How do you like your utility company? New York's Public Service Commission has fined 5 of them about $50 million for failing to meet customer service standards. The PSC, which oversees utilities across New York, grades companies each year on how well they treat their customers.
So I'm supposed to not go to work so that I can pay you to wait around for you to shut my day for 12 hours.
Not a happy customer there. Joe Jenkins with the Central Hudson Gas and Electric Corporation says they understand where they fell short.
The time it takes to answer our phone calls, there's a requirement that we need to make in order to answer the calls within a certain period of time, and we did not meet that standard.
Rory Christian chairs the PSC and says the commission's metrics are all designed to push utilities to just do a better job.
We want to make sure those customers are treated well. And that their problems are identified and addressed as quickly and expeditiously and efficiently as possible.
National Grid says it will use the commission's recommendations to try to do better. A former Western New York, Pennsylvania congressman has died. Republican Tim Murphy was the representative in PA's 18th congressional district in the House from 2003 to 2017. He passed away Saturday at the age of 73. A PA medical center is getting a hefty state grant for some much-needed improvements. Here's Family Life's Brian Query.
The Fulton County Medical Center in McConnellsburg is receiving $750,000 in Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program funds to upgrade the long-term care facility's HVAC system. The funding will be used to install a modern system with improvements to the air handling units, heat pumps, and ventilation. The funding for the project is part of $445 million that was awarded through the program to support 356 projects statewide. Brian Query, Family Life News.
Thank you, Brian. Police are looking into a home invasion at the Pennsylvania house of star NFL running back Saquon Barkley. Police Captain Tyler Moyer says detectives are looking for at least 2 suspects after they say one of them broke into Barkley's home early Saturday morning while the Eagles star and his family were at home.
All the occupants of the house were physically okay, obviously a little unsettled, as anybody would be, but no one was harmed.
Authorities are looking into whether this might be the latest in a string of thefts targeting pro athletes. New York State Police continue to conduct undercover work zone enforcement operations trying to keep highway workers safe. Operation Hard Hat issued several citations on I-88 near Binghamton on Friday. Trooper Aga Tinker tells WBNG.
It's not about the tickets for us. It's about driving home the point that we want want everyone to go home safely at the end of the day. If you're able to move over, move over. If you're not able to move over, it's not safe to move over, at least to slow down.
Tinker says in mid-construction season, they're still seeing far too many drivers speeding through those active work zones, just not paying enough attention. Up next, highlights from today's noon feature. Our Bob Price spoke with Peter Mara from the Colson Center about a new free Bible study aimed at helping Christians live out their faith in the public square. It's a companion guide to the film Truth Rising, which debuted last year.
Truth Rising, the film, is a documentary done between the Colson Center and Focus on the Family to really talk about the moment that we find ourselves in as a Western civilization. It featured Os Guinness, John Stone Street, and various voices. But the film kind of framed up the whole idea of Western civ. Started in Rome and ended in the U.S. It's a great narrative, great film. Highly recommend it. But the question after that film is, okay, we see this, we feel this, we recognize something's off in our civilization in the West. What do we do? Yeah. So we put together Truth Rising, the study, and the study's free. It's available for any Christians. They can go to colsoncenter.org/truth, and they can get the study. And the study consists of the film. So the full film is there available if they haven't seen it or people haven't seen it. And it consists of 4 teaching pillars: hope, truth, identity, and calling. Yeah. And these are 4 different studies.
I love in the film, and I agree with you, highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, just go to Truth Rising, the website, and you can get it there, or Breakpoint, or Focus on the Family. You can get a lot of different places. But the stories of the individuals you tell in the film, there's so many wonderful stories of faith under fire. Are their stories included in the study?
There are. Their stories are in there as well as some others. You know, when people come under fire, we look at some of these leaders like Jack Phillips, for instance, and we think that they just woke up one day and had the courage to stand for their faith and then face the onslaught and all the challenges. But the reality is Jack and people like Jack are just normal, everyday Christians like most of us going through our day, but they took the time to build that deeply rooted faith. So when the opportunity came for them to be courageous, they were able to take a stand. Yeah. And their stories are great. And each video highlights a different person around hope, around truth, around identity or calling.
Yeah, the narrator, Os Guinness, talks a lot about we're at a civilizational moment in our country, you know, as we embark on America 250. And a lot of folks are asking the question, could America survive another 250 years? Because it seems like every 250 years, a culture throughout antiquity goes through this civilizational transformation. Do you think, Pete, we are at that point in our country's history?
I'm not nearly as wise as Os Guinness, but I think it doesn't take us as Christians much to see that the world is very disorienting and something has fundamentally shifted. I think for Christians, the question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to accept that we're in decline? Are we going to embrace renewal, which is what Oz talks about? And I think the answer for us as believers is that God has called us to be people of hope, grounded in the truth of God's story. And when we do that and we live out our calling in each and every day of our lives as teachers, plumbers, doctors, you know, whatever it is that we do, when we live that faithful calling out, we can help restore this broken world that we live in.
Our Bob Price with Peter Mara from the Colson Center. You can hear the entire feature and all of our Family Life original news features at Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
There are some things money was never meant to buy. Hi, I'm Rob West with another Faith and Finance Minute. In Acts 8, Simon the magician saw the apostles lay hands on believers, and they received the Holy Spirit. Amazed, he offered them money and said, "Give me this power also." Peter's rebuke was direct. "May your silver perish with you, because you thought you could obtain the gift of God with money." Simon treated God's grace like a product to be purchased or power to be controlled. And while we may never say that out loud, we can slip into the same trap when we think our giving, service, or obedience can purchase God's favor. But grace cannot be bought. We don't give to earn God's love because in Christ, we already have it. Connect with a certified Kingdom advisor who's been trained to deliver financial advice that aligns with your Christian values by visiting our website, faithfi.com.
Thank you, Mr. West. Well, finally at 5, it's kind of like the modern equivalent of panning for gold. A lot of folks like to go to the local Goodwill store and rummage for some bargains, and that includes Portland, Oregon teen Quinn Brown, and man, he struck gold. An L.A. Lakers warm-up jacket belonging to the legendary Wilt Chamberlain. He tells KPTV.
None of us ever thought something like this would happen, especially just for $3 at a Goodwill. I was just doing this because I really enjoyed it, never expecting anything like that.
Yeah, not bad for $3, though. He almost missed out. When he first saw it, it was in another shopper's hands.
He just threw it right in front of me, immediately grabbed it, and one of the best moments of my life.
He knew he had something kind of special, and he sent it off to the famed Sotheby's auction house, which verified it was Wilt's warm-up from the 1972 NBA Finals. It's got about another hour or so to go in an online auction. At last check, the bidding was over $50,000. Sotheby's predicting it might go up to $250,000 before it's over, and the 19-year-old has a pretty mature outlook on that potential windfall.
I really just want to save it. I know that if I put this money away, it's going to grow and could potentially mean retiring a lot earlier in my life.
Making out good at Goodwill. That's the world we live in for Monday, July 20th, 2026. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.